You know, all the time I talk to people that want to legalize drugs, they advocate drug use, and I've heard every argument, you know, that I possibly can hear. I wanted to put this newspaper article right over here so you guys can check this out. I will post a link over here to the Sun-Times article so you guys can read it yourself. Chicago, at 29%, also had the highest proportion of arrested men testing positive for heroin. Basically, this article seems to bolster what a lot of people have been saying through the years, that illegal drug use, crime, go hand in hand.
Jesus Freak 777. Anthony, how you doing? Me and my spooky thing, what squeaks? Want to ask you a question. Have you ever considered, Jesus Freak, moving to the mountains, isolating yourself from all human contact, and spending many, many years in isolation, contemplating your place in the world, contemplating your role as a human being, trying to discern what is truth and what is your own delusion? Have you ever thought about doing that, Jesus Freak? Because if the answer is no, you might want to give it a shot. Because I gotta tell you, man, right now you come across as pretty fucking stupid. You come across, in fact, as incredibly fucking stupid. You are a stupid man. I don't say that as an insult. I don't say like, I don't take any joy or pride in saying, you're stupid, ha 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 ha. It's not like that. I'm just telling you because I feel sorry for you, because I want you to not have to be a stupid person, because I think you're capable of not being a stupid person. You need to do what all those Obama signs used to say, Jesus Freak. You need to change. Now, you don't need to change your appearance. You don't need to change your personality. You don't even need to change your diapers. All you need to change is your mind. You know, some people tell me, Jesus Freak, that Jesus Freak guy, he's a snake in the grass. He's a weasel. I don't agree with that. I don't think any of that's true. I think you're a pretty decent guy who's just incredibly fucking stupid. And this latest video bears it out like no other. This video is a plate of fail fries slathered in double mild weak sauce with a side order of suck. It's dreadful, dreadfully boring, and mind-bogglingly insipid. I cannot believe you actually sat in front of a camera, recorded this, then watched it, then said, that's good, and put it up on the internet for all to see. Now, you make it clear in your video, this is not just drug arrests. This is 89% of all arrests. Okay, but here's the problem. Most arrests are drug arrests. And then most violence, and then a lot of violent crimes are tied to gangs, which are in drug trafficking. And when you're in drug trafficking, you tend to do drugs. So, and if you're addicted to heroin, you're likely to steal things to pay for heroin. So the correlation here doesn't equal causation. You need to be mindful of that, Jesus Freak. Correlation doesn't equal causation. Even my little rubber friend here knows that. Heroin makes people criminals because most people who get addicted to it can't afford it, and they end up stealing $5,000 worth of stereo equipment out of people's cars every day to pay for their drug habit. Now, if you could go buy heroin at your local tobacco shop or something like that, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. People wouldn't have to steal to do it. And you know all those gangs that are committing all that gang violence that I mentioned earlier? You know how those gangs are paid for, Jesus Freak 777? That's right, with drug money. You know, alcohol was, for a brief time, known as the Prohibition era, illegal in this country. And during the Prohibition era, we saw the rise of gangs and violence and bloodshed on a scale never before seen. That's when mobsters became celebrities and organized crime started to rule our metropolitan areas during the Prohibition era. But once alcohol was legal again, the mobs largely shrunk in power. But we still have gangs selling illicit substances on our streets. And if you want that to stop, if you want that cycle of violence and bloodshed and poverty to stop, then you have to make the drugs legal and regulate them. That is the solution that all logical people can agree on. And I'm sorry, but if you don't agree with that, then you're fucking stupid. But maybe, okay, maybe that's too far. Maybe you're not stupid just for being against that position. But you are stupid if you come at it like you came at it, and just said, look at this article. Don't fucking think. Don't ask what are some alternate explanations. Don't figure out what other correlatives might exist. Just blindly jump from A to B and don't think beyond that.
What's interesting is there's a tiny little article about that big, buried into the center of the newspaper. But I have a hunch if this was a let's decriminalize criminalize drugs article, it would have been plastered all over the front page. Gotta love the liberal media.
Jesus freak, I fucking challenge you to find me a mainstream American newspaper with a pro-drug story on the front page. I invite you to do that. Show me, I mean, I'm not talking like Rolling Stone or some shit like that. Find me like a Chicago Tribune with a big pro-drug story on the front page. I would love to fucking see that, Jesus freak. Get with me, I'll have my fans do a little fundraiser for you. We'll get you some money, we'll buy you a cabin off in the mountains with no internet connection and no ties to the human world, and you can just sit up there and you can just twiddle your thumbs and think about how mind-bogglingly idiotic you have been and try to come to some conclusion about yourself. You even said that the number looked a little high to you, and you still didn't bother to examine it or to ask yourself, well, what are some other reasons why this might be? I can't believe your stunning lack of intellectual curiosity, Jesus freak. It's pathetic. Get your ass in that log cabin and shut the fuck up. Amazing Atheist, peace the fuck out.